Maximizing Missions. I'm your host, Carl Richard. Thank you for watching today. You know, I believe that missions is the absolute heartbeat of God. Maximizing Missions is a platform that missionaries, ministers, and others can use to share their mission, their ministries, and certainly their stories through a podcast conversation. I'm so honored to share this time with you. In this episode, I want to talk with you about Adult and Teen Challenge. Addiction is very real. It's ugly and incredibly painful, and it plagues our entire society, including our churches, our neighborhoods, and our homes. Teen Challenge has found a way to incorporate the good news of Jesus Christ, along with other tools to offer hope and healing to people who find themselves in the grips of addiction. I've personally been involved with Adult and Teen Challenge in some capacity for the last 25 plus years. It is my pleasure to introduce to you today my friend Greg Amberson from Teen Challenge. Greg, thank you so much, man, for being in the studio today and joining me. I'm so glad that you're here today to talk with us about Adult and Teen Challenge.
Thank you for having us, Pastor Carl. Greatly appreciate it.
Hey, Greg, tell me about Teen Challenge. Perhaps there are those that are watching or listening today that aren't aware of what Adult and Teen Challenge provides and what you guys do day in and day out in your particular facility. So talk to me about Teen Challenge.
Well, Teen Challenge is about 60 years old. It started out of New York, and there's centers all around the country, about 200 centers around the country. In Texas, we started in 1968, and here in Texas, we have a part of Teen Challenge of Texas. We have now 11 centers, and our centers minister to men, women, and adolescent boys and girls that are struggling with life-controlling issues, and mainly being drugs and alcohol. And so we are, in essence, we're a discipleship program. It's not a rehab. It's not a treatment facility, if you would, but it truly is a place where people can remove themselves from the situations that they're in and immerse themselves into a totally different situation where Christ is the center and become free from their addictions.
So talk with me about day in and day out ministry. What does that feel like? What does that look like? What do you guys provide?
So every center is a little bit different. Our men's center, which is where I'm the director, our men's center is predominantly it's a holistic approach concerning addiction. We deal a lot with discipline and making sure that people, kind of push through. They get up in the morning, they make their beds, they do those types of things. It wouldn't seem like a big deal, but a lot of times people that are caught up in their addiction, they get overwhelmed with their current situations or their living situations, and they don't know how to begin to deal with it. And because they've been in a progress or a slow progress to deteriorating, they need to bring discipline back in their life. So we get up early, we have prayer in the morning, we have worship in the morning, and then we have breakfast, and then we go on about our day. We have class time where they're in Bible studies and learning about the Lord, learning how to develop their character to become have a more Christ-like character, and then we also have times where they're doing things off campus, doing volunteer work, possibly community service, and those types of things as well. A fairly rigorous program. If guys come in and they don't have their high school diploma, we like to help them get their GED and things like that. Towards the end of their stay with us, again, it's a long-term program, about 12 to 13 months. Towards the end of their stay, we help them find a job. We help them to learn how to budget. We help them to save money. We help them to maybe get their credit report cleaned up a little bit or take care of back child support and those types of things to reestablish themselves and save some money so they're not destitute again when they complete the program.
We're watching some pictures scroll through. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in these pictures and where they're taken?
So every year, unfortunately, because of COVID, we haven't been able to go this year. But every year, HEB Campground down in Lakey, Texas, allows us to come out and we have a retreat.
So this
And,
is in Texas somewhere.
So it's beautiful.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's right on the Frio River down there, and so we go out. We play a lot of games. We get together with the other centers that are part of Teen Challenge of Texas. So there's several hundred of us. This is actually the men from our campus. At the time, and then there's some staff down there in the front as well, and so these are our guys, and we went out there for several days to just have a time of refreshing and really just to advance.
More of the retreat, or is this something different?
That's actually one of our chapel services, and we were so guys spend a lot of time praying for one another and believing for one another. It's really exciting when we see somebody come into the program that maybe their wife has filed for divorce, or they're in a difficult situation, or maybe they have legal issues and things like that. And as together as the body, as we believe together and pray together, those victories kind of become our victories as well. So when someone's charges are dropped, or when something is changed, or a wife decides, hey, I'm going to stop the divorce process, or children that they've been estranged from decide, hey, I want to spend some time with my dad, it really becomes part of the victory together, and in a sense becomes kind of an altar where we can look back and say, man, if God did it for him, he can do it for me. And so it's really, man, it's the body of Christ at work is what it is.
I love that. So tell me about your center specifically. Where are you located? What type of needs do you address?
So we're a men's center. So we take men that are 18 years and over, and we deal with any kind of an addiction. Quite honestly, we've had men that have come in even for gaming, where they spend days on end, and even some of them challenging with gambling and stuff on video games. Pornography, what do you call it? Eating disorders and things like that. Honestly, when the enemy uses our weakness to sidetrack us from the process that we need to go through in order to realize our salvation. And so whatever it is that's a life-controlling issue, the answer's the same, and it's Jesus Christ. And that's what makes, Adult and Teen Challenge so different from other treatment facilities or things like that. Again, we're not a treatment facility. We're a discipleship program. But ultimately, men come into our program, adolescents, women come into our programs to find freedom in Jesus Christ.
It's fascinating to me about the success rate really that Teen Challenge has had over the last number of years, really since its inception. Tell me about the success rate that you guys see.
So, every center is a little bit different, but nationally, on the national level, we just in 2019, toward the end of the year, completed a study, a national study that determined that 78% of the graduates of our program, meaning those that come in the program and complete the entire program, 5 years out are still free from their addictions.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's an incredible program.
In your opinion, and from your perspective, how many years have you been involved with Teen Challenge?
So, so when I was in ministry, I've been in ministry in some inner city churches and stuff. So for about 20 some odd years, 25 years, I've taken people to Teen Challenge. My family and I, my wife and I, and my daughter, we would take people in off the streets and that we met through ministry, help get them detoxed, and then take them to Teen Challenge, and so we became loosely involved for quite a few years, until 5 years ago when I was asked if I would be interested in coming on at this particular teen challenge, and ultimately being the director here. And it's been it's interesting because I think as a kid you have dreams of, man, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be a cowboy, or whatever those things are, and of course as you grow and you mature and you go to college and you think, yeah, I'll be in education or whatever it is that it is. And when it's so true that man has his plans, and then God orchestrates his steps.
Sure.
Because I am literally, my family and I, we're living our dream at being part of Adult and Teen Challenge. There is never a day that I go home and lay my head to rest at night where I cannot be grateful and thankful for a move of God in somebody's life that particular day.
Tell me about some of those experiences with some of the men that you've worked with and have seen God just absolutely transform their life and their family.
Sure. Well, sometimes people come in the program and they're atheist or they're agnostic, don't really have any desire to know the Lord, but a family member kind of backed them into the corner and they agreed to reluctantly come into the program. We actually just graduated a man just this last Thursday, and he when he came in was an atheist. Had no desire to know the Lord in any way, shape, or form. And not only did he come to know Jesus Christ and get free from his addictions, but he's also agreed to stay on, and he wants to work for Teen Challenge. So he's actually part of our internship program now. That's just one little example where you see God so completely revamp somebody's thinking. We've had, just numerous situations where people come in and the wife drops them off and goes and files for divorce or whatever, but then over time they have a visit, they talk on the phone or those kind of things, or they bring the kids out so that they can spend time with their dad, and slowly but surely God begins to melt the heart of the wife, and forgiveness begins to happen, and the husband, as he realizes and goes through the process, the mistakes that he made, and he begins to ask for forgiveness, he begins to repent for those things, and God starts to break those things down, and then the family is restored. I can't tell you how many men have come to the Azle area. We're outside of Fort Worth, in a small town there called Azle. And great support from our community there, but I can't tell you how many times men have come, they've gone into the program, they've gone into the third phase where they get a job, and then they end up moving their wife and their kids and everything to Azle. And now, even the church that I go to, on the platform every single Sunday leading worship, we've got 3 of our graduates. Other churches in the community, we've got graduates, other in corporations that are in leadership. I've got one guy that's in his third phase right now that's actually in a supervisory capacity in a large corporation. That he went in as basically just a grunt, and God has just in a matter of months just really advanced him. It's amazing.
What is, after the years that you spent in Teen Challenge, from your perspective, what is the best kept secret of Teen Challenge?
I think Teen Challenge is the best kept secret. I'm continually amazed at how many people have not heard about Adult and Teen Challenge, or how they, even in our own community, we'll have guys out working and doing community projects, maybe even picking up trash in a ditch or something. And, people will say, man, I've never heard of you. And it's like, how have you never heard of us, But I think just I think many times people believe because we're not a medical facility, because we're not, state accredited or whatever, that possibly it's not as good of a program. And until they actually look into it, or until every other bridge is burned, there's no insurance, there's no finances, then sometimes they'll call, because we don't charge. We have an admission fee, but we'll do anything to get somebody in. We will not allow finances to ever keep anybody out of our program. So maybe they burned every other bridge, or they have no other resource, and then they'll call us and say, well, hey, and then, man, I wish I'd have known about this a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever.
Sure. What is the process for somebody to be admitted into Teen Challenge?
So the first thing would be to make a call to our campus, and if it was an adolescent or whatever you know, or a woman or a male, you can call our campus, and we can get you directed to one of our other campuses here in Texas. And like I said, we have 11 campuses now, and so if you give us a call at the number that'll appear on the screen.
Yes.
We will be glad to help you out and get you started in the process.
It is. I am talking today with Greg Amberson from Teen Challenge, and he's my friend. I'm privileged to go out to the center in Azle ever so often, speak in chapel, work with the guys individually, and it's a joy for me. Really, I love doing it. It's a fascinating experience, and as Greg mentioned to you, the phone number on the screen, if you need to contact them about somebody you care about, love just to talk through some things about the admission process, or if you'd like to know more or gather some more information about admission, I know they'd be happy to talk with you. Again, the number is on your screen, and you can talk with the staff there at Teen Challenge in Azle. And so, Greg, thank you again so much for being here. As we continue our conversation today, I realize that you have not just the men that you work with at Azle, but again, 11 campuses. There's probably several hundred people across the campuses, both men and women that you help to disciple and work with. And so what's one thing that keeps you up at night when you go to lay down, and what's something that keeps you up at night, being the director of a 50-plus men's center in Azle and responsible for some other duties there?
Wow. Boy, that's a good question. It really depends upon the night, and what's going on. Obviously, when the COVID crisis began, are we going to be able to maintain the financial burden that there is? We operate 100% on donations, so we rely upon the church, we rely upon fundraising, we rely upon those things, and so the concern being not just that we be able to keep the center afloat, but also the staff and the interns and those families that they represent. That became a concern. But God in His faithfulness, I always tell the staff, there was a doctor that prayed for us one time, and he prayed a prayer, and it was like this. He says, God, you own the cattle on 1,000 hills and all the gold under those hills, so we ask that you release it in Jesus' name. And that just kind of becomes a continual prayer. It's always amazing to me how God continues to provide, as long as we're just faithful to go ahead and do what it is He's called us to do. So finances can be one of those things that can be a concern, but really, it's really just staying up sometimes and praying for the men and the families that are ministering to them. The Word says that we're not supposed to get weary in well doing, and sometimes the pressure of ministry can become quite taxing, and really just that there would continue to be unity on our campus. Man, our guys are like iron sharpening iron. Our staff is completely committed. Most of my staff live, all except for one person, they actually live on the campus. So to say it's a 24/7 ministry, it truly is.
It really is.
It's not unusual for us to get awakened in the middle of the night and walk over in our pajamas and pray with someone and minister to them, and And honestly, that's the most exciting thing, is just being able to be there with the guys and to love them. Many of these men come into the program and they've never had anybody tell them that they love them, and they'll challenge that love.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make you prove it, sometimes, but it's good. It's good, and ultimately, the Lord teaches us more through the process than anything. It's amazing.
You mentioned some of the work process that you guys are involved in, some of the work projects that you guys do. Explain to me more about the sort of the day-to-day operation. I know you guys do bath bombs and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that. So tell me
sure.
some of the details about what you guys actually provide in terms of work projects for the
Very
guys.
good. So, the goal being to help people understand and to learn some new ideas, if you would. So we have on our campus, we have several shops that we create items, and we have a bath shop that we create handmade soaps, car candles, bath bombs, and those types of things, as well as we roast and package our own line of coffee. We have
Talk to me now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's not cheap coffee. It's good coffee. It's that it'll rival Starbucks kind of coffee. I
So
probably
you
shouldn't
actually
say
roast
that
it
online.
on
So
campus.
so we have a guy who helps us with it,
Sure.
that helps us roast. We roast and package our own blends. We have a Colombian blend, and everything's organic, fair trade. Responsibly sourced coffee. So we have a Colombian blend, a Honduran blend, a Brazilian blend, and a what's the other one? Oh, Mexican Chiapas, and we're working on one more blend. And so we've got 4 different blends of coffee, and it's incredibly good coffee. And then we also make and design silkscreen T-shirts. So it's training guys how to do inventory, training them how to cost and estimate the cost of production, helping them keep inventory, helping them learn to do the different aspects of business, and then we offer those items when we go out and do drug awareness teams. We'll offer them for a donation. We also have our San Antonio campus. The men there, they create beautiful woodwork pieces, crosses, and plaques, and things like that. And then our Alvin campus, which is a women's campus near Houston, they create candles, and so we have all these items that we that we use to help bring awareness mostly, but then also we offer them for donations as well.
So back to the screening process for the T-shirts. So if my church is doing a missions trip, or if my organization or my company needs a large amount of T-shirts, we can call you guys and get some ideas, and you guys can provide that for us. Is that right?
Absolutely. We can help you
Awesome.
come up with a design, or you can send us a design, and then we can create the T-shirts for you.
Man,
Absolutely.
that's incredible. I love the fact of you guys helping these men to become entrepreneurs and thinking outside of what they've known to something different and something new. It's one of the tools really that Teen Challenge uniquely provides
Absolutely.
outside of a relationship with Jesus Christ. You guys offer
Amen.
so much more to help them, the character building, the qualities, the friendships that are established there.
Absolutely.
Talk with me about the internship program. So guys graduate from Adult and Teen Challenge after 12, 14 months, and if they have a desire to work in the program, that obviously is an option with the internship program.
Absolutely, yeah. So they can graduate the program, and they can do a couple of things if they want to stay involved. First of all, we have an aftercare program which they can participate in, and that would allow them to continue to get regular counseling and things like that. And then we also have what's called reentry. Reentry, they would continue to stay on our campus. They would continue to work their third phase job. Continue to remain accountable to a budget and those types of things, and just give them a little more time under their belt. Or they can go ahead and graduate, and then participate in our internship program, in which they're actually learning leadership skills and pouring back into the program that help them find freedom. And the goal in being an intern, of course, it doesn't always work out that way, but the goal would be that someday they would be able to be hired on as a staff member in our program, and be able to continue to participate that way.
You mentioned about COVID and the challenges that you guys have had to deal with as a result of that, primarily financially, primarily with the guys not being able to go out for a specific amount of time, everybody kind of being in the same place, but really about the finances, because what I know is that you guys typically worked for our purpose with the Texas State Fair. And every year, and that was a large amount of income came through that one event for you guys. Obviously, that's canceled this year. So a good portion of your operating budget, because of that, because of COVID and that one event of the state fair has been canceled. So what are some things that we can do, churches, pastors, individuals, corporations, what are some things that we can do to offer help? I want you to just tell us about what the needs are and what we can do to help.
Well, ultimately, just praying, because again, we serve the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills.
Absolutely.
And so it's been amazing to me to see how things have kind of shifted, and maybe we made a lot of our income through one way, and now our bath products have really taken off, and we're making more income there. Our T-shirts, we've had orders, and I mean, so things have really increased as far as that goes. Obviously, donations are great. We have some remodeling projects that need to be done, and contrary to what a lot of people would believe, is that not every man that comes through Teen Challenge is as skilled as they pretend to be able to build and to do construction. So we need mentors, if you would, that would maybe come in and help us to remodel our chapel, or help us to do some remodeling on our kitchen facility. We expanded last year, actually just about almost exactly a year ago. We expanded and added 48 beds. So we're actually a 70-bed facility. Ooh. We could go as high as 90, but we're actually a 70-bed facility right now. And so we've outgrown our cafeteria. We've outgrown some things where they're great problems to have. But man, bringing a few men out to say, hey, we'll help you with this room, this staff room, or this intern room, or whatever, and we're going to help you remodel that. We're going to help you, and mentor the guys and teach some skills in the process. Man, that's invaluable to us. But again, really, the main thing is prayer, and just being willing to come alongside us in some form or fashion.
I would like for you to tell me, if I have a family member that is bound by addiction, or a friend that's bound by addiction, and we've been searching for a place, or searching for somewhere to send them to get some help. Tell me, what can I do about that? What would you recommend?
The first thing I would say is stop enabling them, because usually we've babied people along, and we keep thinking, oh, this time is different, this time is different, this time is different. And they intend to convince us of that no, I'll change, it'll be different. Honestly, outside of Jesus Christ, and outside of removing them from the toxicity in which that they're involved, it really doesn't work. And so we're going to do everything we can to help you if you give us a call, but really it really takes those that have in some way, some form or fashion continued to do the little things, maybe providing a vehicle, providing finances, this, that, or the other thing, in order to allow them to keep perpetuating the problem. It doesn't go away, and it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. It takes some positive steps and actions of those around an addict to be able to push them in that direction. Ultimately, it's their decision to come in or not. But stop enabling.
So if I have someone in my life that is struggling with addiction, I can pick up the phone and call the number on the screen and talk with one of your staff members, and they can help to give some other resources, talk with me about Teen Challenge, and ultimately pray with me and offer some hope for my situation. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely, and really, you know, we're in the office every day, from 9 to 5. Man, if you don't get one of us on the phone, leave a message. We will get back with you one way or another. You can visit our Facebook page. You can send us a message via Facebook. We'll respond to you that way as well. You know, whatever it takes, we want to do whatever we can do to help people get free from addictions.
Greg, thank you so much. Thank you for not only joining me today on Maximizing Missions, but thank you for everything that you do. To your staff, your family, your interns, your team, you guys are literally in the trenches day in and day out. You're working, you're loving, you're serving. We so appreciate all that you do, and you truly are a reflection of the heart of God. So thank you, my brother. Again, if you need Adult and Teen Challenge, or if you would like to speak or to contact the team, the number is on the screen. You may have someone in your life that struggles with addiction, or if you would like to help financially. There are 11 centers around the state of Texas. They are growing, and it is an incredible thing to watch. Thank you for watching and listening today. We look forward to seeing you next time on Maximizing Missions. We'll see you again real soon.